Hey, what's up guys? Jeff here with Godbold Exotics. I'm here with Forrest Fanning of Reptile. We're holding a few animals that Forrest brought to the show. These are Corallus and undulatus. Maybe you could tell me a little bit about them?
Well, I mean, basically, you know, most of what I know about these guys I've learned on Corallus radio, especially on one of the road trips I was on recently. I was listening to the Nick Mutton episode, and that was such an awesome episode where he's really going into what makes, you know, annulated so different, really how different they are from Hortolanus. And these animals in particular are from Costa Rica. So I got these from my buddy Joe Satowski. Got some orange ones. I've got some that are like this, and some of them have like some white spotting. I have one that looks like it is kind of towards the red end of colors. So really just a big variety of color.
So this is a male, this is a female.
Yep.
So that's one thing that does make them kind of similar to Hortolanus is they are sexually dimorphic. So males are going to be smaller, females are going to be larger. This is probably like the gray tan phase, and then we've got the tan phase can also be kind of orangish like this one. But I've heard they're much more placid than some of the other Corallus species.
Yeah, far more tractable. I mean, that really stands out. You know that you can't do that as much with Amazon tree boas, right?
Yeah.
So I think they're just a great captive animal for people to work with. I don't find them to be particularly difficult to take care of. You know, they're not super easy to get your hands on, but hopefully with all the people that seem to be taking interest in Corallus, that'll change and we'll see more people that are producing these. And
that's the goal.
Yeah, absolutely.
So these guys also are pretty shy, it seems like. Do they display quite as much out in the open? Have you seen?
Not very much. They are very shy. You know, if you go in there at night, sometimes you'll see them out moving around, but they do like to hide, and you know, you just don't see them during the day very much.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, let's pull out some other animals.
Sure.
We've got some monitors here. Maybe you can tell us what do we have?
Yeah, Varanus melinus. This is the quince monitor, and these guys are from Indonesia, and they're frequently imported, almost never captive bred. The only times these guys have been captive bred is from, I believe, Cincinnati Zoo bred them, and more recently Anthony Sains bred them. And like I told him, they might not bite you. Oh, there he goes. But it looks like that didn't. I said they might not bite you, but looks like so. That at least makes it a little exciting.
He's fun.
Yeah, here. Very rarely captive bred, but it's really exciting to see somebody in the private sector. Anthony Sains recently had some success with these guys. They're a beautiful arboreal monitor, very similar to tree monitors, but get quite a bit bigger in size than the tree monitors as far as overall size goes. And a lot of them, when they get bigger, have this absolutely beautiful yellow coloration.
That was insane.
That's one thing that really made me fall in love with them is that crazy yellow. So definitely.
One thing that's really good to note about arboreal monitors is they're going to have a prehensile tail. So these guys are going to use that to balance on the perches. They're also going to use it to climb. They can be a little nervous, but I mean, they're pretty awesome animals. They get a little bit bigger, like you were saying. And you can tell there's a lot of versatility with the color too, because this one here has quite a bit more yellow than the male I'm holding.
Yeah, absolutely. So here we have Euprepiosaurus group of animals, tree monitors, which is something I'm super passionate about. Absolutely love these guys. I know you got your buddy out there, Nick Jill, working with some of these guys. So this is actually a Varanus ricingeri, so a yellow tree monitor. This is captive born and bred animal, so hasn't really started to develop that
the bond?
The really intense yellow that they'll get. So they kind of go through, you couldn't really call it an ontogenic color change.
All right, good.
Alright, so this is gonna definitely hurt. But they definitely. Oh, that's gonna suck. Okay, just think you didn't get it and then let go. That would be awesome. Or maybe like this one. Yeah.
Oh, dude, look at my freaking hand.
Yeah, so this is kind of part of handling young monitors. So I've just fallen in love with tree monitors. Really love working with these guys.
They're falling in love with you too?
Yeah, they're falling in love with me too.
Sure.
Yes.
So we're here holding another species of Corallus. This is Corallus caninus, otherwise known as the northern emerald tree boa, one of my personal favorites. These guys are absolutely awesome. Maybe you can tell me a little bit about these?
Like you, they're definitely some of my favorites. These are captive-born animals, and you know, that's one of the things I learned from Corallus Radio is how important it is with working with these animals to work with captive-born specimens. And I think that, you know, with so many people getting into Corallus now and having more information like what's put out on your show from guys that for me were really my heroes like Ed Marino and Ryan Williamson that really put the truth out there about some of the issues that come with animals if they come from wild caught versus captive-born collections. And so, you know, that's one thing I guess I would like to stress when putting information out there about them, is just really how tough and durable, and really how they're not these like super difficult to keep and you know, health issue ridden animals if you start with strong animals, you know, from good breeders. But you know, one thing about them, they're one of the bigger species of Corallus, so they get pretty big, they're impressive, great display animals.
One thing I do want to stress with these guys is a lot of people think that they want to get a perch that's the size of the girth of the animal. If you notice what these guys are perching on, it's much thinner than their most thick part, their thickest part of the body. And I mean, I've even seen this with green tree pythons, but like they'll perch on like the heat cord from the heat panel. And we talked about this when I did the episode with Ryan Wallison. I think thinner is better with these guys if you're looking at perches. So don't get caught into that. It's kind of an old school way of thinking, and I think there are probably some better ways. The animals seem to like them thinner like this. So
yeah. Then I think hydration is really important, and not necessarily from spraying, but giving them fresh water frequently. That's been one thing I've noticed about emeralds over other snakes, is just when you change that water out even between 3 and 5 days, you know, they're like literally sticking their head in that water bowl and they're drinking for a long period of time. So I think hydration is really important. I know Ryan likes to hit on airflow a lot. Making sure that they have a little more airflow than maybe you need to have with like a green tree python or some of those species. But outside of that, you know, they're pretty awesome animals to keep. And you know, some of them, if you work with them, there's certain animals in certain bloodlines, like the Miss Willie line, for example. Some of those animals I have, they are just puppy tame. And of course, Amazon basins, you know, the Bates eye can be, you know, really tractable, docile animals as well. But it's yeah, I love them. I think they're one of the most beautiful snakes in the world, and excited to see what, you know, you and I and a lot of our friends can do with these guys in the future.
Yeah, we just want to bring people into the hobby that are kind of maybe getting tired of some of the more mundane and common species out there, and show you that there's a lot of really cool stuff that can be worked with that people don't know about, or maybe there's been a misconception in the past that they're really difficult to keep. These guys are bulletproof. If you can find out if you can get your cage styled in and what they need, you can get hydration, airflow, get your perching in there, and get all your temps where they need to be, they'll thrive for you and you won't have to worry about it. Now these are not adults. Remember, they get a little bit bigger. I'll throw a picture up from my visit with Ryan Wallison down in San Diego of some actual adult animals. We don't have any adults here at the show, but you know, this is more of a sub-adult, and that's kind of more like a yearling.
Yeah, one of my favorite episodes, by the way. Yeah, there's nothing like going to Ryan's. I went there too, and that collection is just so amazing and
top notch.
Yeah, top notch. It's great to see a breeder that's that dedicated and that disciplined to work on one thing and do it really well. So props to Ryan, and props to Corallus Radio, man.
Thanks, man.
Really appreciate this, Jeff.
Awesome.
Your attention, please. J.T. Tomlinson. J.T. Tomlinson, please report to the registration table. J.T. Tomlinson, please report to the registration table. Thank you. Once again, there'll be a speaker in about 5 minutes down in the North Pavilion. Maggie Solom will be talking about crocodile cognition and learning.
Wow, that's cool.
At 12 o'clock in about 5 minutes at the North Pavilion. Crocodile cognition and learning. Please feel free to go and listen to this awesome talk about crocodile.
No, man, we're both like
crazy. Not these guys.
No, these are from monitors.